What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my free TikTok dropshipping course for 2023. This is the final video, and this is video number 10 of 10. So in this video, we're going to be talking about scaling to 6 figures and beyond. So I'm going to show you guys how to test different variables. I'm going to show you the difference between horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. I'm also going to be showing you guys how to run CBO campaigns. Then I'm going to be showing you guys how to switch to Alibaba suppliers. And I'm going to show you how to fulfill all of your orders using a CSV file so you can do it in one shot instead of doing it individually manually. So guys, all that I ask is if that you find any value from these videos that you're watching, please just give me a thumbs up. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And please consider subscribing so you guys don't lose access to any of these videos. Leave your comments below and I'm going to do my best to answer every single one of them. And if you want to take it a step further and you want some mentorship and access to me 24/7, please consider joining my Discord group below for only a couple of dollars per month. You know, I could save you thousands of dollars in mistakes, and I can also help you reach that next level. Below, I have a link to a 3-day free trial of Shopify, and it's $1 per month for the first 3 months after that. So you're not going to want to miss that. Get that before that goes away, and that link is down below. Okay, and with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Alright guys, in this section, this is all about scaling. So you found a product, the numbers looked good, you're profitable already, and you're ready to take it to the next level. So this is the fun part, this is the part you guys have all been waiting for, and this is where the magic happens. So with scaling, the most important thing is that you guys know your numbers. You guys need to know how much you guys have to spend to acquire a customer, okay? So know all your numbers. So the second thing is don't scale too fast. You don't want to mess the optimization up and then ruin what you guys have going. So don't scale too fast, and I show you guys down below exactly how to scale and the right amount of ad groups to add at a time so you don't mess up your optimization. You're going to start with horizontal scaling first, and that's the most important thing is horizontal scaling. So that's going to be first off, and I'm going to show you exactly what that means down in the videos below. You always want to analyze your data and your audience breakdowns to see where you can improve and how you can change up your ads a little bit to get the most for your money. I want you guys to also test out different variables. So the regular testing ads that you guys started with, you don't need to always just do those. You can break away and then test different variables, and below I show you guys what those variables are and exactly how to incorporate them into your ads. So you guys want to make sure you scale efficiently. It's not always about revenue numbers. All the other numbers need to make sense too. It's about profit at the end of the day. So just scale efficiently. One big thing with TikTok is that you want to test and launch new creatives regularly. Your creatives aren't going to last forever, so you always want to have other creatives ready to go. So test new creatives daily, regularly, and find the ones with the best click-through rate. You know, your performance could be very different from one ad to another. So test all ads, you know, never stop testing ad creatives. So once you're doing numbers, you have a bunch of sales coming in daily. I want you guys to switch to Alibaba suppliers instead of AliExpress suppliers. So this is going to get you guys faster shipping times, maybe even a better price, and your customers are going to be happy. You're going to get less chargebacks and things of that nature. This is essential to keeping this business going. Then I'm going to show you how to bulk order with CSV files instead of downloading each order individually by AliExpress. And there's 2 apps that I want you guys to download. One's to download the orders, then you upload them with a different app. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that all below. Okay, so once you get some data, you can start testing some of these variables. And in order to check to see the data, you're going to go under your campaign name and hit view data, and then it's going to bring out this little section right here. So you're going to click audience. So this is where you're going to see all these breakdowns. So if your product, you know, if you want to see what gender is buying, what age group, you can go to gender, see, so it's female, age groups, 18 to 24 is about half, then 13 to 17. Then you can do by location. United States, Canada. I usually do just the United States. interest and behaviors. Like if you're looking for new interests and behaviors to find, or seeing which ones perform the best, you can scroll through here, and then everything is broken down here. Device, you can see what the budget is allocated towards. So Wi-Fi versus 4G, 75% of it, or 79% was to Wi-Fi. The operating system was all iPhone users, no Android users, and all the breakdowns down here as well. And then you can go through, instead of total cost, you can go clicks, click-through rate, cost per click, and you can kind of break everything down. And you know, these are things that you could test in your new ads or your new ad groups. So if you had an original ad group that was completely open targeting versus a more dialed down one, you can change in that second ad group, maybe filter it by Wi-Fi, Apple or iOS, 18 to 24 year olds, and then see how it compares to the open targeting. Sometimes it'll perform a lot better and you'll use all the budget towards who it's supposed to be shown to, or it might perform worse. So us as advertisers have to test these things to see which works better. So when you're running ads, you want to do the testing phase first, but then after the testing phase and you find out that yes, this is something that you could scale, there are also other variables you can test within each ad group. So not only just scaling, but also testing different variables. So let's say, for instance, number one, open targeting versus interests and behaviors. So you could either, I'll show you right here. So go to make your new campaign or whatever, and you could do completely open targeting, which is, you know, essentially just leaving everything open, you know, everything, like not really touching anything. That's open targeting. But then you could do, you know, you could add an interest, like say you add education, you know, or you could use behaviors, or you could try creator interactions, or you could also test these hashtags, you know. So that's one thing you could test. The next thing is age and genders. So if your product is specifically for a guy, you know, you would select male, or if it's specifically for a girl, you know, select female, and you do that right here. If it's a general product and could be bought by either, click all. If it's specific to male, if it's specific to female, then also ages. You know, I would play around with ages. Like if it's something that's, you know, for a younger audience and you know 55-year-olds aren't going to be buying it, you know, run it open in the beginning to see. But in future ad groups, you know, you could just select 18 to 24 and try that, you know, versus your open targeting one, and see which one does better. You know, because if it's just pushing the product in front of people in the right demographic, you know, you could potentially be wasting money by sending it to everybody else. So that's something you could test. The next thing you could test is device. So you could actually see who's buying, you know, either Android users or iPhone users, and I'll show you. So you can scroll down to device right here, and you can select Android, iOS. Usually it just says Android, iOS, or both. You know, you can click all, or, you know, if it's something to do with one or the other, click the right ones. You know, you can do it by device model. Like if you're doing a cell phone case for iPhones, you're not going to want to market towards Android people because you're going to be wasting your money. So you could always test open versus targeted. Also, you can test people that are on Wi-Fi versus people that are just on everything. Sometimes Wi-Fi performs better because if somebody's on Wi-Fi, that means they're probably home or in a spot where they're relaxing, opposed to being on the move and like walking down the street and being on your phone and being on TikTok. So you could test with that. The next thing is day parting. So this is kind of cool because with TikTok, you can control when your ads are shown. So under the budget, there's a thing right here that says either all day or select specific time. Usually when I'm testing, I do all day to see like when people are buying. But if I know it's a specific age group and I know what time they wake up and go to bed, you can potentially save money and allocate your budget towards the hours that people are actually awake. So what I usually do is I go from 8 in the morning till midnight. Because if you think about it, this is when everybody's usually sleeping, from 1 to 6 or 7 in the morning. So you can waste a decent amount of budget within this time and, not get that many sales. And if you're at bigger budgets, say you're spending $5,000 a day, it's a little extreme, but all right, so say you're spending $2,000 between this time period right here, and you could potentially be burning a lot of your budget. So what I like to do is after the testing phase, or if I know and I'm familiar with like a demographic and age group, I'll just let it run from 8 to midnight. So that's definitely something you could test against all day and see which one performs better. But I do like day parting and I do recommend trying it. Another thing you could test is your bids, lowest cost versus bid cap, and I'm going to show you the difference between the two. So lowest cost under bidding and optimization. Lowest cost maximizes the number of results. So it's going to try to get the best results for the lowest cost. But with this, it's going to spend your money no matter what. So if you have a $20 budget, it's going to spend the whole 20. With cost cap, what you can do, this is where you type in a specific dollar amount that you think you're going to get a sale at. So like, let's say your average cost per purchase or average cost per action is $10. You can go ahead and put $10 here and you can make one ad group up to however many you want. But they're not always going to spend, because if they can't get your cost per action at that dollar amount, then they don't spend. So you want to try to find a sweet spot to where they are spending and they are getting good results. And you can play with different bids and test different things out like that. But if your bid's too low, it just won't spend. So if you have a $20 budget, sometimes it will only spend $1, sometimes it'll spend $5, $10. But if you found your sweet spot and you've played with it for a while and you know what numbers work, this could be very beneficial for you. But I usually stick to lowest cost, at least in the beginning, until I have a ton of data to where, I could start doing cost cap, because I know what my cost per action is. So these are some of the things that you can play with. So these are some of the variables you can test and some things to play with. Whether you're scaling or you're just in the beginning phases, these are some things you definitely want to test out. Okay, so now we're going to get into scaling. So these methods right here are two of the most popular methods you're going to use, and if you want to grow your business, this is what you're going to need to do. So this is vertical scaling versus horizontal scaling. So what I recommend first is definitely horizontal scaling, which is on the right here. So picture all of these little things right here as ad groups. So for instance, if this is your first 5 ad groups that you start with for testing, and they all do good and you're ready to take the next step, what you're going to do is just simply copy the ad group 5 times. So if you start with 5, copy it 5 more times. And if those do good, copy another 5, and then copy another 5, and then copy another 5. But don't go too crazy to where you start with 5 and then you copy 20 ad groups. Or you start with 10 ad groups and you copy 30 or 50. You want to scale slowly, because if you scale too fast, it's going to mess all the optimization up and it's going to mess all your numbers up. So you start with 5, add another 5 the next day. If those do good, add another 5 the next day, blah, blah, blah. Vertical scaling is a little different. So if you have say you have an ad group right here. This is just one ad group. If this is at $20 and it does good, all the numbers look good, it's very profitable, then you can copy that ad group and change the budget to 50. So it goes from 20 to 50. And if that 50 does good, let it run and see all the numbers. And if it's still doing good, then you can copy it again and make it 100. And if that does good, you can copy that again and make it 200. But the higher the budget on a single ad group, usually the cost per action is going to rise and the CPM is going to rise and your cost per click is going to rise. So you really have to monitor everything and make sure that it's still doing good. But if you're spending more and making more, then as long as it's profitable, keep it. But you're definitely going to want to monitor that. Okay, so let's just break it down. Horizontal scaling. So like I said before, you're going to copy ad groups and test new interests and behaviors. So don't scale too fast or it's going to throw off your optimization. So in order to scale correctly and slowly, you're going to start with your 5 ad groups that you started to test with, or if you started with 10. So if you started with 5 ad groups, the next day, add 5 more. And if those do good, the next day, add 5 more, etc. And you keep adding more and more ad groups. So, you could end up with 50 different ad groups at $20. Okay? And if it's a super broad product, like literally anybody could use it, then I would literally test every single interest and behavior that is available on TikTok. So you could test travel, you could test pets, you could test technology, you could test beauty, you could test relationships, family, like literally anything. Like if it's a broad product, I would literally just add 5 ad groups and just click 5 different new interests every day. Or if you start with 10, add 10 new interests every day. Sorry, my cat. And another thing you can do while you're horizontal scaling is you can start testing new variables. So if you go and look at your data from your ad sets or from your ad groups that are already running, and you see where, say, more of the budget is getting allocated to a certain age group or to a specific device or to a specific gender, you can copy those ad groups and test out those new variables. You could also see what time of the day people are buying, and then maybe you want to start day parting in some of your new ad groups. That's fine too. This is all a test. So as you're scaling, you can still be testing new variables, new interests, new behaviors, day parting, etc. So don't be scared to test different things, and just make sure you monitor it the next day and see how it does. Maybe you'll find that day parting actually gives you a better cost per action, so then you could start day parting all of your ad groups. Or maybe by switching genders and just putting it on male or just female, you get a lower cost per action or different age group. So make sure you're paying attention to all your data, and then you can make new ad groups accordingly. So make sure you pay attention to that, and don't be scared to test different variables when scaling. So one of the most important things with scaling and TikTok in general is that creatives tend to die out fairly quickly. So what I want you guys to do is always be testing new creatives. So make sure you're testing these new creatives, every day, every other day, every couple of days, but make sure that you're always testing creatives so that you have backup. Because when you're scaling and you're only using one creative, that creative's not going to last forever. Sometimes they only last a week, 2 weeks, so you never know. So always have other creatives on hand that you're testing, and you're ready to scale those as well. So that's one of the most important things is creatives, especially with TikTok. So never stop testing creatives. So just remember with horizontal scaling, you just don't want to go too fast. You definitely want to just keep adding more and more interests every day. Or you could even add some open targeting. So it's all the testing phase, but make sure you monitor all of your ads and just see how they do. And another thing that I like to do is monitor my ads like over the course of like a 3 to 5 day span. So like if you're running these for a little bit and you want to see if they're still profitable, go to the last 3 days and like filter the dates by the last 3 days, and you can see how they're doing over the past 3 days, because sometimes overall it'll be a good cost per action, but in the last 3 to 5 days it could be tanking. So make sure you monitor that and make sure you're staying aware of all your ad groups over the lifetime and over the past 3 to 5 days. So I would stick to horizontal scaling for the most part, but if you have bigger margins and you're highly profitable, then you can start trying vertical scaling as well. And for vertical scaling, what you're going to do is you're going to copy your winning ad groups to a higher budget. So take your $20 ad group, and if it's doing good, you're going to copy it and then set the new budget to $50. Then you're going to watch that again. Watch the $50 group, ad group. And if that does good and it's still profitable, then you can copy that to $100. Make sure you monitor that. Your $100 ad group, look at all the numbers, the cost per purchase or cost per action, the cost per clicks, the click-through rate. Typically, as your budget starts going up on a single ad group, your numbers are going to rise as well. But if it's still profitable, then you're still good. So your cost per action is going to rise a little bit. Sometimes it's honestly not that much, but if it's not that much more than your cheaper ad groups, then and it's profitable, then keep it. And you can keep doing this. Maybe do up to 200, maybe 250. But as long as it's profitable, keep it, but make sure you pay close attention because these can rise pretty quickly. So what I would do is I would wait for, your horizontal groups, your horizontal ad groups to spend some money and, say if you have a $20 ad group that's profitable, nonstop over the course of a couple of days, then I would take your best ad groups and then turn them vertical. So take your best $20 ad groups and make them 50s. But I would do horizontal first. And then once your horizontal ad groups do well, then you can change those into the $50 ad groups or 100. But horizontal first and then vertical. So right now I'm going to talk about CBOs and scaling. CBOs are a great way to test things, but also to scale and spend more money quickly. So what you're going to do is, one, you're going to start a new campaign, but you're going to select the campaign budget optimization tab, and you're going to set the daily budget to $50. So what you're going to do is you're going to make your normal ad group that you had made in the past the same exact way. You're going to duplicate that 5 to 10 times. And what's cool about CBOs is that it goes off of daily budget and allocates the budget differently for all the ad groups in it. So it will favor the best performing ad groups within the campaign and allocate the campaign budget accordingly. So if one ad group's working well, it's going to spend more on that ad group opposed to one that's not performing well. So if this is working well at this $50 budget, the daily budget, in order to scale a CBO, you could, make another CBO campaign and set the budget at $100. Or if that's doing well, then make a $200 CBO. But make sure you monitor them though, because at some point, the higher daily budget it is, your cost per action is going to tend to rise. So just monitor it. But if it's profitable, you can keep scaling up and keep doing more expensive daily budgets. Or what you can do is, instead of doing like a $500 CBO, you can make 10 $50 CBOs. So play with the low budget CBOs, but also try doing higher budgets and see how they perform. If they perform well, great. But if you find out that it's not profitable after a certain dollar amount, like if $200 CBOs just aren't profitable, then stick to lower budget CBOs. But here's exactly how to do it. So in order to make a CBO campaign, you're going to go to the campaign tab, click create. And you're going to click conversions over here. And you're going to go down here and toggle this on, campaign budget optimization. And to start out, you're going to do $50. All right. And name it whatever, CBO1. All right. And then you're going to click continue. And then you're going to do whatever. I always do one open targeting, and then the rest I do interest based. So you're going to do your website, your pixel, complete payment event, and then you're going to go through this just like you would go through your normal campaign. Select the placements. You can use user comment on or off, doesn't matter. I'm just going to leave it off for now. So I'm going to leave this one open right now. You could pick either if it's male or female or both. I'm going to just do this one open. So then once you hit next, put in your ad. All right, continue, and then whatever your stuff is, and then website. All right, then you can hit create or submit. All right, so now this campaign, no matter how many ad sets no matter how many ad groups you put in it, it's only going to spend $50 a day. So you're going to click the CBO campaign, and then you're going to hit these little three buttons right here and hit copy, and you're going to put 10 ad groups in here, or 9, so it makes it 10 total with this one already. So what I like to do is I like to make CBO campaigns with anywhere from 5 to 10 ad groups in it. All right, so for this one, I'm just going to start out with 10 total, 9 here, and the original one, that's 10. So you're going to duplicate it and hit next. You're not going to change anything right now. And then you're going to hit submit. So you're not going to change anything right now. Hit OK. Okay, so now these are all the 10 ad groups within your one campaign. Then you're going to leave one open and then go in and edit these one by one and switch to your interest targeting. So each one put a different interest. So education. All right, hit save. Same thing with the second one. Click your new interest. All right. Save. And then you're going to do that for the rest of these. All right. So what this does, it's going to allocate the budget towards the best performing ad group within this whole CBO campaign. So let's say education is starting to spend and it's getting sales and all the numbers look good on it. It's going to just keep spending there as long as it's getting sales. But like, let's say vehicles and transportation. Let's say this is starting to spend. It spends $10 and nothing happens. It's just going to stop spending here and then try something else. So it's going to really just go and spend the money where it's getting the results. Okay? So you're going to start with this one CBO, see how it does, and if it works well at the $50, you could just go and just make another CBO and set the budget to $100. And if that does good, you can go and do another CBO, set it at $200, and so on and so forth. So, but just monitor it every day and just make sure your overall cost per action is profitable and good. And as long as you're making money, you can keep raising these or keep making new higher budget CBOs. But honestly, the higher you go, usually the higher the cost per action is, but you have to find the sweet spot. Or you can make a couple of different lower budget CBOs. Like say you made 5 different CBOs all at $50, or you could try, scaling up more. $100 CBO, a $200 CBO, a $500 CBO. It really depends how well your product is selling and how good your cost per action is and how profitable you are. So keep that in mind, and this is a good way to test but also scale. So you could try that out. Alright guys, so this is a pretty crucial step in your business because you don't want to just stick with AliExpress's long shipping times. You want to move to Alibaba and get better shipping times and possibly even cheaper product costs. If you stay with AliExpress with the long shipping times, you're going to end up getting a lot of chargebacks because people aren't going to want to wait a month to get their orders. AliExpress is kind of just a testing phase to see if the products will sell. So you only want to use AliExpress in the beginning, and then you want to transfer to Alibaba. Once you start doing about 20 orders a day, you want to switch to an Alibaba supplier. The point of moving to Alibaba suppliers is to speed up the shipping times and to get a better price per unit. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Alibaba, search your product, you're going to message multiple suppliers and ask if they support dropshipping. So usually AliExpress, they all support dropshipping, but Alibaba are like the main suppliers and you're talking to the main factories. So only some of them actually support dropshipping. But if you express to them like, hey, I have, this many orders a day and I plan on doing a lot more, do you support dropshipping? So what you're going to do is you're going to ask them what their fastest and cheapest shipping options are. I personally like to use Yun Express. So I'm getting my products to my customers within 9 days. So that's under the 2-week mark, and I realized it's around the 2-week mark customers start, asking like, hey, where's my order? So if it's there before the 2-week mark, you're not going to have that many complaints. So tell them you need them there in under 2 weeks to get to the customer. So I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of what I send my suppliers on Alibaba. So this is an example to what I'm going to just copy and paste to all the suppliers that I can find that are selling the exact product that I'm trying to sell. So this is the example. Hello, I'm a dropshipper from New York. My name is Royce and I just started selling the same product XYZ and it's selling very well. I am very experienced and I'll be selling hundreds of units per day very soon. I am wondering if you support dropshipping. If you do, what is the cost per 1 unit shipped to the United States so that my customers can get their shipment in under 2 weeks' time? I look forward to doing a lot of business with you. Thank you. So you're going to just copy and paste this to every single supplier that sells the product that you're selling. Chances are some of them are going to say no, but chances are some of them are going to say yes. So you're going to be able to actually shop around and try to find the best deal, cost per unit shipped. So that's what you kind of want to get an idea for, is what is the cost per 1 unit shipped. So if the unit is only $3 and shipping, they'll do, $2. So it's $5 per unit shipped. So go ahead, get some prices and quotes from these new suppliers, and I guarantee you it's going to be very easy from here on out. So here's a quick example. Say you want to sell these booty bands or whatever. So you're going to click this, and all you're going to have to do is contact supplier right here. So you can click that. So what you're going to do right here is, it really doesn't matter what you put right here for the quantity and stuff like that. This is what you're going to do, is you're going to copy or write down similar to what I wrote, and you're going to copy it here, paste it, and just hit send inquiry. And then you're going to do that for as many as you can. So you're going to keep finding ones exactly like this, you know, so then you're going to click this one. If these are similar, you know, click these, and then every single one of them, just hit contact supplier and paste your message in it, and then send it to them. And then they're all going to hit you back. So you're going to be able to negotiate and shop around. So this way, you're going to get your product to your customers a lot faster. It's going to be way more professional, and it's going to be honestly less work for you, because instead of doing it individually on Oberlo, now you're going to be doing it in one shot, and it actually just gets easier. So that's it for this. If you guys have any questions, ask them, and I'm here to help. So right now I'm going to show you guys two different apps that I use in order to bulk fulfill my orders. So what I do is I use one app to download my orders between a specific day, and it downloads those into a CSV file for Excel. Then I have another app that I use once I get my tracking numbers and stuff back from my supplier in a CSV file. Then I upload that to a different app, and it uploads all at once. So you download it all at once, and then you upload it all at once. So if you go to your apps, the app I used to download all my orders is Exportify. So I'm going to just show you quickly what this looks like. So what you're able to do is pick a date range, you know, so let's say, so after 2/8 and before 2/9. Let's say after 2/8 and before 2/9. So this is just orders for the day. I always do paid. So click export. Okay, 5 orders exported. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open this tab down at the bottom that you just downloaded. Open it up. It's going to open in Excel. Enable editing. So what I do is I start with here. There's a bunch of stuff you can delete, because if you're going to send this to your supplier, they don't need a bunch of information that's just useless. So what I do is I delete everything from here until shipping full name. All right, and then I delete from company all the way until combined address. Keep combined address. Then I go to shipping method and SKU. I delete those. Always keep your variant title so they know exactly what, you know, this is a phone case, so I have the exact case it is. Then I have the model phone case it is, so when the supplier gets it, they know exactly what it is. So I keep those two. Fulfillment service and line price I delete. I keep the quantity. Then subtotal, shipping price, tax, total, and currency I delete. I keep the created date just so I know, and then I delete the rest. Alright, so this is just for organization purposes. Like, I know exactly what date these orders are from. I know the quantity. I know the model, the product. Then I have all their information, which is their full name, the order number, the full address, the city, state, zip code, country, and I usually have phone numbers. I didn't set this up on this store, but usually the phone numbers, just in case the couriers have, trouble delivering it, they could always call and be like, hey, I'm at your house. I don't see a door, So I usually have the phone numbers, but this is all you need right here. Order name, shipping full name, combined address, city, state, zip, country, phone, product title, variant title, quantity, and date created. So what you're going to do is save this, save as. So what I do is I usually name it like the product and then the date. So like case Feb 2 or Feb 8 orders. Alright, and then I usually save it as a CSV file. So right here, CSV, comma, delimited. Alright, so hit save, then you can X this out. So then what you're going to do, you're going to send that to your supplier on Alibaba. Or if you find a supplier that could do bulk orders on AliExpress, but usually I just go to Alibaba. And you're going to ask them for their email and a good place to send the CSV file. Once you send it to your supplier, then you say, please send me a payment link when you can. Then you're going to wait for them to go through your orders. Then they're going to tally everything up and then send you a payment link to pay on Alibaba. So now instead of paying for all your orders individually, you're going to pay for your whole CSV file full of orders in one shot. All right. Once you pay that, it's going to go through, and then you're going to have to wait like a couple of days, maybe 2 days, and then they're going to give you your CSV file back, but they're going to add a column for the tracking. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm just going to add tracking right now for myself, just because I'm doing this as an example. I had already fulfilled these orders. All right, so wait 1 second. And just to make sure you're getting the right app, it's Exportify, and it looks like this. It's got the little A on it. By AbleSense, just to make sure you're getting the right one. All right. So the app to upload all your orders is called Mass Fulfill. All right. And it looks like this. All right. So the first thing you're going to have to do is go to FAQs, and you're going to have to download a little template. Let's see where it is. Do you have a template of the Excel file? And yes, you can find it here. And it's going to download for you. All right. All right, and this is what it looks like. Okay. Enable editing. So you're gonna have to put a specific number in here, so all the URL or all the tracking URLs come up for the user. So you're gonna go back to here under the FAQs. So you're gonna go to right here where it says what's the difference between aftership / track 17 track. You need to generate this code right here. So copy this. And you're going to paste that into cell D2. So we're going to go here into D2. We're going to hit paste. Okay. So just how this is. So I downloaded it. This is how it came. And then I put in this right here. Remember, I copied and pasted it from right here. I copied that. So what I do is I save this right here as its own template, because I'm always going to edit this same template. So instead of downloading it every time, I already have it downloaded. So I'm going to just save this right here. save as, and then I'm going to just put in orders template. All right, so next time you have any orders, instead of going back and re-downloading everything, you just edit this and then save it as something else. All right, so we're gonna go to our order page. I'm gonna go copy our order name right here. We're gonna put it into order name. So what I do is just hit paste. So order name's here. Then tracking company, you can leave blank, or if they give you the tracking number or tracking company, you can put in. This is what I usually use. All right, tracking number. You're gonna swap back to your orders. Tracking numbers right here. You're gonna hit copy. You're gonna go back to your template. You're gonna hit paste. Okay, and see how this comes up right here? This is how the customer is gonna track their shipping. So that code you just put in, it allows them to go right, it gives them a link that's actually active and live, and they can click on the link and it'll bring them right to the tracking. So you're gonna drag this down, and these are all different links right here. So once the customer gets their email, it's gonna give them this link right here with the tracking number in it, so it's clickable and it goes right to it for them. All right, so you're gonna save this one as file, save this as, and you're gonna leave it as the Excel 97 to 2003 workbook, and you're gonna name it, accordingly. All right, and then you're gonna hit save. I'm gonna name it as something different. Well, for mine, Feb 8 orders. I'm gonna hit save. All right. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna click mass fulfill, and then fulfill right here, entire order. So you're gonna click that, and then you're gonna select Feb 8 orders. You can open it. All right, and then you just need to match these columns. So order name is order name, tracking company is tracking company, tracking number is still tracking numbers, and tracking URL is tracking URL. And location, don't even worry about that. So you're gonna hit next, and then you're gonna come down over here, and you're gonna make sure all these boxes are checked right here. So it triggers shipping confirmations on Shopify. Do not process orders whose financial status is not paid. Mark all as fulfilled so they won't be in pending status. Okay, so this is going to connect to your Shopify store and actually, show Shopify that, listen, I sent out all the orders. Here's the tracking numbers, and your customers are going to get notified, and they're going to get an email with their tracking numbers. All right, you could also get notified once the file is processed, but I always leave that unchecked because I don't need to check my email. I already know what's going on. And then all you got to do is hit fulfill, and then you're done. And then if you go on your Shopify store, you'll see that the orders are going to go down, 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 because they're getting fulfilled. All right, and that's the quickest way without getting a virtual assistant or hiring anybody to do your orders. You just do it in one shot, and once you get good at this, you can do it very quickly. All right, so it's really not that much work. You could have 500 orders, and it still takes the same amount of time as 5 orders. So that's the easiest way I found to download your orders with Exportify, and then upload your orders once you get the tracking numbers with mass fulfill. All right, and then you just hit fulfill, and then that's it. Then you're on to the next. All right, that's it.